All right, here we go, Coach. American University, Joey Dance. Tell us how you got here and how long you've been here.
Yeah. So my history. So I wrestled at Virginia Tech, graduated in 2017. After that, I went to Northwestern, and then I was their first actual resident athlete at Northwestern. Was there for right around a year. Worked with some good guys while I was there. Learned a lot from guys like Storniolo, Andrew Howe when he was there, Cody Brewer. A lot of great guys, a lot of great people. And then after that, I transitioned from Northwestern to Davidson College. And so went from being a resident athlete to jumping into Division I coaching. I knew I always wanted to coach at this level, and so making that transition was very exciting for me. And I wanted the challenge, and so I had opportunities to maybe coach at some more higher level programs. And I think the challenge of going to a program maybe that hadn't had a ton of wrestling success, at least success that I would expect from a high-powered wrestling school in Davidson College. And so I wanted to push myself as a coach to really do something maybe hasn't been done before in a program. And I feel like that's how you really grow. And so that's kind of what leads me into coming to a place like American too. So I was at Davidson for 3 years, helped that program jump to new heights while I was there. Did a lot of program first, and then made that transition here to AU whenever Jason Borelli and Alex Tirapelli got the job here. And so I'd say one of the top two reasons was location. I love the DMV area. It's close to home for me. I knew of the history of American wrestling, kind of comboing those two together with the location and the history of American wrestling. I mean, they finished top 5 in the country back in 2011. And so seeing that, being a younger coach, knowing that you could get it done at a smaller program like this, that was big for me. And then also, I already mentioned them, but having Jason Borelli and Alex Tirapelli around, that was probably the easiest push for me to make that jump from Davidson to here. And learning from guys like Jason Borelli and Alex Tirapelli. They've done so much for this wrestling community, whether that's their time at Stanford when they saved the program there. A lot of different things go from making that jump to learn a lot of great things from these two. And I was with a great staff at Davidson too. I had a guy by the name of Andy Lozier, who basically saved Sacred Heart Wrestling, if you don't know too much about Andy Lozier, and learned a ton from him too. And being a younger coach, I needed to be a little bit more molded and learning the ropes about how to approach Division I coaching. And so I learned a lot from Andy while I was there. And I couldn't be more thankful for my time so far in Division I coaching. And now I'm getting into my 7th year Division I coaching. This will be year 4 coming up here at American, and I couldn't be more fired up for what we have to bring to the table this season.
Give yourself some coaching advice from first-year coach 7 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like there's just when you first get into coaching, it's a lot of excitement and a lot of like unknowns. And you have all these ideas that you want to just put into place right away, but then you got to take a step back too and recognize that it's not about you anymore. And so when jumping in, you're not the competitor, you're the coach. And so really motivating the guys is really the key piece of what I feel like an assistant coach's job is being that positive outlet for the guys and always looking to lift them up. That's something I felt like I did a decent job off the start. But now, since I've been in it, realizing how important, how crucial that is probably one of my favorite parts about coaching, is getting guys in a good frame of mind. And then also, too, recognizing the importance of staying organized in the coaching world, too. If you get a little bit disorganized, especially when it comes to recruiting, you could miss on some pretty good kids. And so, and then also, too, kind of along the lines of recruiting, would be being able to have good contact with not just the kids, but the parents and the people that surround that recruit that you're going after. That way you can truly build a good relationship. And when you're at a smaller program too, or quote unquote smaller program, I think this is definitely a big time program. But really being able to sell the program the right way and selling your vision to the recruit and the people that surround him is a big piece to being able to grow a great program here at AU.
All right, sell me on it. Give me your recruitment speech.
Yeah.
Let's talk about American wrestling.
Yeah. So I feel like the biggest question I won't give you the elevator speech, but I will kind of explain what I like to talk about. And a lot of it is this notion of American University. We talked a little bit about it too. American University being in Washington, D.C. A lot of kids, a lot of parents, a lot of coaches even, they don't know much about it. They think that we're in the middle of the city. It's a lot of hustle and bustle, and there's a lot of foot traffic. I mean, you're in a concrete jungle. That's the basic perception of American University, where it's the complete opposite. And so I'm a rural guy myself. I grew up in a little place called King William, Virginia, with cows, chickens. I grew up on a farm, and so really explain to kids that it's not the Washington D.C. that you're envisioning. It's a lot of greenery. We're in the D.C. suburbs. If you put a 5-mile radius around our campus, I mean, we're surrounded by residential neighborhoods with homes in those neighborhoods priced at $10 million plus, and so it's a beautiful area. Academics here is one of the best in the country as far as when you're comparing other Division I schools with wrestling. It's a great combo. We have great connections. Our alumni really care about the sport. As you see when you're walking around campus today, we have a brand new building on campus that's priced at $45 million. And so, I mean, if that doesn't show how much they care about wrestling here, I don't know what does. We have a great new AD, young and hungry AD that went to Lehigh, and so knows a lot about wrestling. Has already built great relationships with us as a staff, and even the president, President Alger, he's done a great job getting in front of our guys, and even to a point where he's sending one-off emails to an assistant coach like me, which I think is pretty unique. Typically, when you think about the president of a university, you don't think the relationship with an assistant wrestling coach is happening early on when he first gets here. But I mean, I've already got a good relationship with the president, and so that should speak volumes to how much this school cares about athletics.
All right, so you mentioned the dedication that the administration has. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've got a stellar coaching staff as well. So talk to me a little bit about actual classroom. What's the classes like here? I saw thousands, it seems like, of kids, just a hustle and bustle. Now, not a concrete jungle like you mentioned. Beautiful setting here on campus. A bunch of kids walking around, going to class because class is in session.
Yeah.
Talk to me about classroom sizes and what kind of experience the wrestling recruit's going to get in the classroom.
Yeah. So a lot of the foot traffic you see too, and so our campus isn't massive. I mean, we're in DC, and so I mean it's 13 miles from one end to the other, and so I mean it's not massive. Our campus size is right around 100 acres, and so that's probably why you're seeing a lot of that foot traffic. And then also too, whenever class gets out, that's when all the kids are going to be walking around too. As far as the class size go, I mean, it's teacher to student ratio is 11-1. And so definitely smaller class sizes, which is what you want to see if you're a decent student and you're looking for a great combo with athletics and academics, and you want that hands-on feel, then American University will give that to you. And then as far as kind of lecture sizes too, and this kind of gives you an idea of like what maybe a bigger class feels like. Right around 50 to 75 like chairs in a lecture hall, and so I mean it's a small, intimate environment, and I think that's the best way you can grow too. And so you're forced to engage. Unlike if you went to a state school like myself at Virginia Tech, I mean we had 500, 700 seat lecture halls in class, and so it was really hard to build relationships with your professors. To where at a place like American, you're going to have that relationship that really, I mean, if you haven't been through or been able to see like anything in action or anything in motion on a college campus, you can really realize how crucial it is to have that relationship with your professor as you move on when you're looking for jobs and looking for different things whenever you graduate.
Let's talk about those opportunities then. When you graduate, what kind of networking does American do somewhat on your behalf? I get it, they're not out there physically doing it, but with a name like American University and the alumni that have come from here.
Yeah.
What kind of opportunities are these kids going to have when they get out of here?
Yeah, so I'd say the options are endless as far as what we have to offer. Again, we're in Washington, D.C., and so, I mean, we're right next to basically anything that a kid would want to do when he goes to college. He has an internship opportunity right down the road. One of our stronger majors here that kids really look to pursue would be something around the business realm. And so I would say almost 65-70% of our alumni database is just it's chock full with business alumni, and so we have kids that come on very early on that want to pursue business, and they get opportunities sometimes their freshman summer, And so we have a lot of great connections that we definitely utilize. And then also too within that realm too, we have a great career engagement center too that allows kids to really start building their resume very early on, and thinking about what internship opportunities are around the area too, and they get that in their head as well. It's not just coming from the coaching staff, and so it's in every single department, and it's not just business, it's communications, it's school public affairs, it's international school service. And so I mean, all around our campus there's a lot of opportunity to really grow outside of wrestling.
All right, one of the things I love to ask in interviews is you've kind of given me the pitch. I want you to recruit the wrestling mom who's going to be sending her son here to wrestle.
Yeah.
Talk to that wrestling mom out there.
Yeah. So for us, I feel like I spoke a little bit about the recruiting pitch, and so it's like I talk a lot with parents, and so like the first initial contact typically is with the kid. I mean, June 15th comes around, I'll call the kid, and then I ask them like what's your parents' cell, what's their contact info. I'll send them a questionnaire to fill out. That way I can get in contact with their parents, and a lot of times the mom is typically the first call. And so definitely making the biggest thing with the mom, they want to see that their kid is going to be taken care of. And so for us, we are a smaller community, and so you're going to really get that family feel more so than you would get at a bigger school. And so we do a lot of different activities with the guys outside of being in the wrestling room. We get them over to our houses where we live, and we get them whether that's hanging out with our families that come into town, or whether that's like doing a Super Bowl party, or whether that's something along those lines, or whether it's getting them outside and doing community service too. We try to help our surrounding community as much as we can. And so I think one thing too that is huge is when you're looking at us compared to a bigger school, especially when you're talking to parents too, is will your kid have a chance to come here and develop? And so that's something that you will get at a smaller program, where maybe a bigger program will promise that, but then sometimes those promises aren't met if you get on campus and you don't perform in 1 year, and then you might be over recruited. For us, we're going to develop and we're going to pour into you and into your kid during your time here.
Last I checked, this is a Division I school.
Oh yeah.
And as a fan, I get to sit in those stands on NCAA tournament, and I get to watch a level playing field from day one. Now, you might have seeds, and you might have favorites, and you might have this and that, but we've seen crazy things happen at the NCAA tournament, whether you're 1 seed or 33 seed, right? So Division I wrestling gives you an opportunity to go to a small school like this and still have an opportunity to get to that big dance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for us, it's like we have coaches that have been there, and so not even really just in a competitive sense, but then also too from a coaching sense. So guys like Jason Borelli and Alex Tirapelli have coached national champions. They've coached many All-Americans, and so we definitely have a staff that's ready to turn some heads. And then we have the guys to back that too. We have the horses and the staples, and so that's something Coach Borelli always says. And so we definitely want our racehorses ready to roll when it's time to go. And we feel like we have a team this year that's very young and hungry across from 125 all the way to heavyweight that could surprise a lot of people. And so for us too, and I think it's a lot of motivation for the guys, is there's been a ton of success here. And so we've been a top 5 program before. And so back in 2011, American University finished 5th in the country at the NCAA championships. And so knowing that has happened, that gives the guys some fuel as well. We've had a national champion before. We've had many All-Americans, and so it can be done here. And so really it's just about getting the right kids on campus and believing that. And once they do, then we'll let them run.
All right, Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks for inviting me in. Excited about the season. What else you have for us?
No, nothing. I appreciate you coming in, Rob. You're welcome anytime. Hopefully we can see you at a duel or two, whether that's away or home. But no, just go Eagles, and definitely look forward to the future, and excited for everything that's to come.
Thank you.